Today, we look at the tight end position as I continue my deep dive into the 2024 NFL draft class. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I went over 20 tight ends for this class. If one doesn't make the list that you think should, tell me about it in the comment section. I love having that nice, beautiful football discourse. But if you're looking at this jersey and you're like, yo, that's some good stuff, then check out DIYOJ.com. They got custom made jersey. You can make your own baseball, basketball, football. They got hoodies, hats. You could throw on whatever PNG you want. If you want like this Broshmo one, get in my Discord. Ask me about it. But if you use promo code Broshmo10, it will give you 10% off on that. Let's go ahead, get in this sucker. Starting with number 10, Cade Cover out of Ohio State, man. And this was another guy that we thought may have came out in this past year's class. And I'm just going to say this early impression on this class. I think it's better than last year's. I really do. But Cover was a 4-star recruit. Actually kind of has an interesting history because he initially wasn't a tight end. So he was a 4-star recruit from the 2019 class. He played running back, linebacker, defensive line there at high school. And he was actually the high school's all-time lead-in scorer. Kind of wild. But he redshirted his freshman year as he moved from the defensive line to the tight end position. Mainly played special teams for the next couple of seasons, but started all 13 games last year and did a good job of that. Over 400 yards, 5 tutties. Physicality is the first thing that comes to mind when you watch this cat play, man. You can tell that, yeah, this was a guy that used to scrap on the defensive line, man. I love the mentality and the physicality and the violence he brings to the position, man, especially as a run blocker. He has ideal size and build at 6'4", 255, very sturdy. He's just actually hard to bring down after the catch. Like, you go to like the Penn State game, the dude walked through 3 leg tackles on his way to a touchdown. However, dude is a good athlete. He's shown good progression since making the transition. However, the dude's still relatively new to the position. While he did make big strides, I don't think he's a high-end athlete, especially laterally, and he just doesn't consistently create separation. And he just lacks high-end traits, high-end ball skills. That was very apparent in the Michigan game. I think he might even lack length, as he had one over the middle that was just out of his reach. It was a great thrown ball by CJ Stroud. He also had the touchdown toward the sideline dropped because who's that cat's name from Michigan? They're one of their corners, maybe safeties. Oh shucks, his name is escaping me. I'm gonna go look this up. Do I have him with the corner? I think I have him with the corners. The dude's gonna be probably a pretty solid slot corner eval in this upcoming class. But Mike Sainristil. Hopefully I said that right. But I remember talking about him last year. He ended up deciding to return for another year. But yeah, man, I just don't know. He feels like an early day 3 to me, and kind of makes me sad. I wanted to include there were a couple of other guys that I think they're in the same vicinity as Stover for me now. I guess I should just mention them here because you're not going to see them on the list. But like Benjamin Eurosek, who just doesn't have that physicality to him, but he ends up being a good receiver. Eric All, I really wanted to talk about because the guy was saved when he was 5 years old from a burning building. Wild. I really wanted to talk about that. Maybe I'll do that. Do some of these like my guys or guys who I looked into the backgrounds of and really liked or thought I saw interesting tidbits. But I really wanted to talk about All, especially with that. It's just wild, him being saved when he was 5 years old. Now here he is. We're talking about him as a potential NFL prospect. But let's get to number 9, and I got McKalen Castles out of Tennessee. Didn't originally start at Tennessee, though. Really didn't. Interesting kind of background here as former 4-star recruit from the 2018 class. Played basketball, baseball, track, and field as well. And initially was at California. He started his career there. He redshirted his freshman season, but then he left the program after 2 games in 2019, ended up going to UC Davis, and he's been there since. And now he's making the transition to the SEC, which is kind of wild. And you might look at him like, okay, 6'5", 233, must only be a receiving type of tight end. And it's kind of the opposite. Like, this dude is a very good blocker. He does a great job of latching on and guiding blocks. He has that dog in him. He really does. Like, he can bury defenders. He plays with just strong hands. He has a very nice push against interior players. Like, he looks the part as a blocker. He just happens to be a little undersized. And then we got right here, very nice athlete, smooth mover. And I just saw a little typo in my notes there. I was like, I got to adjust that. But he's a smooth mover, does a great job of avoiding traffic in the middle of the field, gets legit separation. He split time between inline and the slot. And I will say that he's come a long way as a pass catcher. Like, he's done a much better job at the catch point. Only 1 drop in 2022 opposed to the 6 drops he had from 2020 to 2021. They didn't play a full season in 2020, so kind of had to bundle those two together. He's just undersized as a blocker, and is he gonna be able to withstand that at the SEC? Is just such a huge question for me. I don't think he offers much after the catch, like average change of direction. Like this dude literally comes to a full stop when he's trying to switch pass and whatnot, and he's not a guy that's going to create too much after the catch unless it's like catch and run. He's not like going to make you miss. I don't think he had a crazy missed tackle rate. He's really more of a lower the shoulder and kind of pray. One of the big things I did like, though, was how this guy gets downfield to block. Like, he is such a good blocker. I am so curious how he will look and make that transition at Tennessee. Like, he's definitely someone I really wanted to talk about on this list. There was another FCS prospect from Cal Poly who went to Washington, who I've yet to get into, though. He's also undersized, but I can't wait to get into him. I just thought I'd throw that out there right now. But also one of the older guys in this class, Stover, they're going to be 24 by the time their rookie year starts. Along with my number 8 entry here in Brevin Ford out of Minnesota. He will be 24 when he enters his rookie season. Former 3-star recruit, has played all 6 years. Well, it will be 6 this season at Minnesota. And you look at 6'7", 270, you're going to be like, okay, do we got a little Darnell Washington? And I'm going to respond with Darnell Washington light. The dude is big. He's big, man. And he's played a variety of different roles for the Golden Gophers. He's lined up wide. He's lined up in the slot, inline. He's been in the backfield as the downhill blocker and such. Like, the dude's played everywhere on this offense, and he showed really good improvement last season as a run blocker. He's just gotten better every year, and he's just done a good job of kind of like creating big plays. Last year he was doing it for Mo Ibrahim, and he's a good athlete for his size. Like, he's capable of running away from 7-man fronts. He can make a mass. Like, he just has a huge catch radius, and he's shown very soft hands, very reliable hands as a pass catcher. However, I will say that he is a bit of a tweener, that he isn't an ideal inline blocker, and he's just not a high-end pass catcher. So he's kind of this in between. He's tall and he plays tall, meaning guys get under his pads relatively easy and they're able to get leverage. He just needs to be a much better blocker on the move. We look at his route tree, nothing impressive. more of just a spot dropper. And like, I don't think he's that smooth transitioning from pass catcher to ball carrier. I really don't. And his ball carrier is just more of a battering ram. Not too many forced missed tackles last season on 42 receptions. He only had 5, but I think the sheer amount of special teams experience he brings to the board, I think kind of gets him in that day 2 area that he's freaky enough to be like, I think I might want to take a shot at that. Okay, we got CJ Dupree here out of Alabama, formerly of Maryland, at number 7 right now? Okay, and he is as you can see, I have 8 tight ends with day 1 or day 2 grades, so looking at a potentially really good class, but you're going to see Dupree and actually the next guy on my list are kind of projection based. Like I expect them to take a big step up in this season, and especially with Dupree with the change of scenery. He's 6'5", 257, formerly of Maryland. Did play quarterback back in his high school days. Kind of wild. He took 3rd place in state for the discus. This is in Pennsylvania, so that's kind of cool. Did start 12 games last year before deciding to transfer to Alabama. Very excited to see what he does at Alabama, but at that size, he's got an ideal frame. He's got good length. He provides just a nice catch radius. He does a good job of adjusting to the ball when it's in air or adjusting to the pass in general. He's just displayed very soft hands, only a 3% drop rate, which phenomenal. That's better than what they had in Cameron Latu last season. And the dude is a good mover. Like his ability to absorb contact is really nice as a pass catcher and a ball carrier, but like he moves very, very well. He's been very good on jump balls. You can see how good of an athlete he is. He had that hurdle in the Ohio State game. 10 forced missed tackles on only 30 receptions is really nice. Dude gets to top speed exceptionally quickly. I could see him being a monster up the seams, and he's a very active blocker against in the run game, and you love to see that. He gets the second level routinely. It's just a nice. He does a good job of latching on and remaining engaged. You love to see it. Probably more of a straight line athlete. That's not a big deal though. If you're a tight end, really isn't. If you got that size already, it's like, okay, cool. I don't need you to be like the most nuanced route runner ever, but I wouldn't say he's like one of the smoother movers in this class. There are times as a blocker, he could be a bit high cut, being a bit taller there at 6'5". 6'5" is kind of ideal, but it does play too high cut. He kind of needs to sink his hips a little bit more, or else he's just going to get routinely overpowered in the SEC. But watch out for him, man. This is one of my guys I think that can emerge. The next cat that I have here at number 6 is Terence Ferguson out of Oregon. Someone I just want to see more of a sample size from, but I feel a lot better with Ferguson than I do with Dupree. Ferguson's been at Oregon his whole stinking career. Look at me, already finding typos in the notes. Let me adjust this real quick. Former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 class. Both him and Dupree are going to be young prospects. I don't have exact ages on them, but I believe Dupree's going to be a 4th-year player coming into this season, while Ferguson's a 3rd-year player. So they're both exceptionally young. The dude has ideal size, 6'5", 255, good length, very sure hands, 3% drop rate. I feel like I'm just reading it off Dupree's because, again, they're very similar in some regards. And I like what Ferguson does. Like, he high points the football, he turns, brings the ball in, and he turns upfield very quickly. Like, this dude could turn on the jets. He's shown good contact balance, 8 forced missed tackles on 32 receptions last year. So you like that. Plus athlete, good feet. As a route runner, he does a very good job of setting up and stacking defenders at the stem. As a run blocker, he is pretty technically sound, projects to be probably one of the better blockers in this class. And really, like, I feel like I'm kind of nitpicking with Ferguson. It's just good athlete for the position, just not make you miss guy, nor does he have like legit burners. Ran the standard tight end route tree for the most part, but I thought he did it very effectively. And he isn't tested as a contested catch guy, which is actually could be viewed as a good thing, that he continuously gets separation, or he's just finding himself open regardless. I'm kind of curious how he would be as a jump ball guy, and if he'll get utilized more in the red zone, because I know the dude has the bunnies. I know he likes to high point the football, so I'm not too concerned with that all in all. All right, number 5. We're in the top 5 now. I got Bryson Nesbit out of North Carolina, like he's Kenny Omega, but former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 class. He started playing football his junior year. So someone who's a bit later to the game compared to a lot of guys on this list. His father, Jaheem Nesbit, is actually a Hall of Famer at South Carolina and played 11 seasons in the NFL for the Panthers, Saints, and Jaguars. Can I get a Duval? Yeah, that's right. So he's got lineage. He's got a pedigree. He made one start his freshman season, and fun fact, only made one start last year, but he finished 3rd on the team in receptions. Love to see it. Over 500 yards, 4 tutties. He's 6'5", 235, but being a 3rd-year player, I think he can fill out the rest of that frame, so I'm not too worried about that. But as of right now, his play strength to be a blocker consistently, it's just not there. He played more as a slot player or kind of an offset, and not the most creative route runner. He just kind of runs what he's being asked to do. There isn't more nuance there. He's just going to run the route to a T like it's drawn out on paper. However, he's got a long frame. This dude's very, very long. Can stack more weight on there, but I kind of already touched on that. It's just this dude's catch radius is nice. He high points the football exceptionally well. He's shown the ability to catch the football in traffic, shows good body control, adjusting to the pass. That was kind of a big one for me going through his tape. Very good athlete, just tore it up the seams last season. He was actually 5th in yards per route run for any pass catcher in the FBS last year. And to give you a little indication, he was the only tight end to make the top 15 in 2022. So yeah, this guy's got some receiving chops. Like, watch out, the dude accelerates exceptionally well, especially when turning upfield, and he's just so sneaking fast. He's gonna be one of the primary vertical players, I would say, in this class. Big frame allows him to absorb contact pretty well, especially after the catch. And fun fact, he has some return experience. That's kind of wild. So he is Nesbit, someone I'm expecting to take that next jump as well. But I think he has a bit more upside compared to Ferguson and Dupree. But let's go ahead and get into this top 4. As we're going to start with Jaheem Bell out of Florida State, but formerly of South Carolina. And let's actually just go into the background. Because I got a lot to say about him. I thought he might come out last year. Former 3-star recruit from the 2020 class. Played both tight end and receiver in high school. Did tear his ACL his senior season, but injuries haven't really been a big problem in his career. Again, started it at South Carolina. Only appeared in 4 games his freshman season because he was still recovering from the ACL tear in his senior year of high school. But 2021 was kind of his big year, the breakout season. He only had 5 starts. He was playing alongside, if you remember, Nick Muse, former William & Mary player, out of, I think that would have been the 2021 class. But he was mainly playing aside him, but the dude had a phenomenal season then, which he touched it up with a game against North Carolina where he had 5 receptions for 159 yards and 2 tutties. And then this season happened, and I don't know what to make of it there. He played every game, made 6 starts, but he was also playing a little bit as a, like, in the backfield. They were using him in a variety of different roles, which I found very interesting. As you can see, it's like, oh yeah, wow, the guy plays tight end, but he had 257 rushing yards. Yeah, he had one game where he started, and then he was kind of like playing like second fiddle. It was very unusual, but now he transfers to Florida State. I'm very excited to see what he does there. The dude's just a wonderful athlete, some of the best hands in the class, 5% drop rate through his career, tracks the ball well when it's in air, shows good coordination, following the ball with his eyes, tracking it, and basically securing the catch as it enters his hands. He knows where the ball is going to be, displays really good body control adjusted to the pass, and he always catches with his hands. He's just very fluid, and he's fluid when he's turning upfield. I love the speed. I love the athleticism. He just gets off the line so well, forces defenders to kind of like pause with his head and his shoulder fakes. So you love to see that. You won't really see too much of that from a lot of young tight ends. And he can carry it doesn't surprise me they use him a little bit at running back with his forced missed tackle ability. Last season, he had 11 forced missed tackles on 24 receptions. But then we get into like what he did in terms of being a running back with the forced missed tackles. So, I mean, you're getting a versatile weapon. I get it. You look at 6'3", 230, and you're like, is he a tight end? Is he? But he played everywhere for South Carolina last season. He really, really did. Like, most of the snaps came in the backfield, whether it was like H-back or running back. So, like, he brings that versatility. He's actually a pretty good downhill runner or downhill blocker. I don't think he's like on par with someone like I thought Chig Okonkwo was someone who did that exceptionally well coming into his draft class. I don't think he's on par with that, but I don't think he's too far off either. The thing is, he's just this awkward size, man. He's too big to be a receiver, too small to really be a traditional tight end. So he kind of feels like more of an H-back, but as a blocker, like, his game just lacks power. And like, he's got short arms that don't help, so he's a bit of a tweener here, but you're kind of betting on the athletic ability of Jaheem. So got him as a mid-day 2 player as of right now. Number 3 on the list is Jalen Conyers out of Arizona State. Was not expecting this because, fun fact, I may live in Arizona. I didn't follow a lot of Arizona State last year. I just didn't. So I really, this cat was very new to me. Like, just his game. So, like, I'm watching him and I'm just like, holy moly. There is a lot to love about this cat. 6'4", 262, and I get it. I say cat a lot. Meow. If you got a problem with it, I don't care. Anywho, I don't know why. So I think it's like, I felt like, okay, I've said cat like 27 times in this video. I might as well address it. Okay, wait, back to Jalen here. Former 4-star recruit, used to play basketball, played at Oklahoma, redshirt his freshman season, and almost immediately transferred to Arizona State. Only had one start in 2021, but he had no start last year, yet somehow found himself 3rd in terms of receptions for Arizona State, and he hella good. He is hella good. He might have some of the best hands in the class. Like, he's got some strong hands. He high points the football really well. Had highlight reel catches. You could go to the Arizona game where he had a downfield ball where he's like, jumps back, just reaches out, grabs it, lands on his back. It was beautiful. Might not be the fastest athlete. Fun fact, he's not. He looks a bit lumbering at times, but he does show nimble footwork. Like, the change of direction, he can kind of change on a nickel. Notice I didn't say dime. I said nickel. Nickel's a little bigger, so I wanted to cushion that statement a little bit for myself. To be fair, it shows up in his route running because he's a very slick route runner. And, like, if you give this cat a lane, man, good luck. Good luck stopping him because he's one of the best ball carriers in this class. 21 forced missed tackles on 37 receptions. That was tied for first last year, I believe. No, that was the most. Okay, so he just edged out Sam Laporta, who, by the way, went in the second round. And I don't, like, he's not as big as a receiving threat. I think Laporta is. But I think he brings better hands and just a better body in general. Remember, he's 6'4", 265. He kind of big, though. He kind of big. Literally eats contact like it's nothing. Like, you could go check out his highlights. I don't know if he even has a highlight reel out there. Yeah, I don't even know if he's got a highlight reel out there, but just go watch some of the games, man. Some of the plays he makes is ridiculous. I will say, though, again, more of a launch strider, not the fastest guy. If I'm going to give a guess, I think he tests out somewhere in the mid to low 4.7s. We'll see. Like, if he gets sub 4.7, I don't think that would shock me too much. Because, like I said, when he gets going, he really gets going. Does need a polish up on the blocking technique. Doesn't always cleanly latch on. Kind of prefers to, like, throw strikes at guys. And just, it's just not always the best option. Sometimes, hey, this is your guy, you need to latch on, you need to move him out the way, and he's got the body capable of doing that. He really just needs to clean up a few aspects of his blocking game. But in terms of being kind of like the potential total package as a traditional tight end, I think he's got it. I really do. And this is kind of, I don't know if other people are going to be high on him. I'm kind of curious, but he's kind of my dark horse to kind of be a top 5 tight end in this class, maybe tight end 3, because I'm pretty confident a lot of people are going to have the top 2 tight ends in this class as who I have now. Might as well just get into it. Number 2, got Jatavion Sanders out of Texas, 6'4", 241, finished with over 600 yards receiving last year, 5 tutties. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. That's good. I got him listed as the top 20 prospect. And if I'm going to give you kind of an idea what type of player he is, I would say he is a better athlete than Dalton Kincaid, just not nearly as consistent as a pass catcher. Like, I think Kincaid had a little bit more nifty route running. Kincaid definitely had the better hands, but Sanders is just a phenomenal athlete. Excuse me, I had a little gas there. Just again, freaky athlete, can be a legit field stretcher from the tight end position, consistently gets separation. The routes, they look a bit more crisp, especially out of his breaks, because he's just so explosive. And honestly, the hands, I said like Kincaid had the better hands, and he does, but that's not to say Sanders' hands are just crap. Like, he had a 7% drop rate, which is not half bad. You want to stay away from that 10%. So 7%, considering he had a good amount of targets, good healthy volume last season, is pretty darn good. He is very tough as a pass catcher, and just honestly has a good frame. Feels a bit compact at times, but he can create after the catch. He's got plus stop-start ability for the tight end position. However, man, he's not a blocker. He just feels kind of like a body. Like, he lacks the play strength or the understanding of blocking angles, and I don't think you rely on him early on in his career to do that. Like, he'll get knocked back by corners sometimes. I know it sounds a little embarrassing because it kind of is. I think if you want to keep him on the field, you're going to have to use him as a kind of a movement blocker. Have him in motion or have him kind of playing downhill. There are times he positions himself very well in contested catch opportunities. I just want to see him bring down more of those. Only 53% in 2022. Want to see that number get better. It's not a bad number, but it's not an elite number either. I want to see him get more physical. That's kind of my biggest sticking point. I want to see him get more physical. We'll see how he develops. He is only a third-year player. So another guy that is very young in this class. But number one, everyone and their mom knew it. Let's see how long do I really talk about Brock Bowers here. 6'4", 230. You're going to be like, oh, he's undersized. It don't matter. It really don't. He's just different. If you viewed him as a receiver, I'd be like, yeah, he's probably a top receiver too. Like, that's how good of an athlete he is. He really, really, really is. And he was a former 4-star. Let's just throw this out there. He's a blue chip prospect for me. So far, I've only given out 3 blue chip grades. Keep in mind, I'm still going through this class, and I know I'm about to start the offensive line class, which I kind of already know I'm going to give out 2 blue chip grades there. So we'll see. But Brock Bowers, he's in that tier, man. Like, I think he's a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. I know that feels kind of wild to say, but played quarterback, linebacker in high school. Also played a little basketball. His mother, like, he's from a family of athletes. His mother was an All-American softball player at Utah State, and she's actually in their Hall of Fame. And then his father played center at UTEP, and Bowers is like, yeah, UTEP, they're fine and all, but I keep calling Utah State UTEP. Utah State. He's like, Utah State's fine and all, but I'm gonna go to the SEC. I'm gonna go to one of the best schools at just bringing in talent in Georgia. I'm gonna go there. The dude's good, man. He won the John Mackey Award last season. First team All-American. Phenomenal athlete. He's basically a jumbo receiver. He plays a great deal in the slot. Only lined up he lined up 8% of the time on the outside. This is what I mean. We've seen him play on the outside. Makes me feel like, yeah, I think honestly he can cut it as a receiver. He's got a really good release package as well. Accelerates his top speed, stupid quickly. He tracks the ball well, sure hands. If you look, 70% career contested catch rate is insane. That's the elite type that's the elite type of statistic I'm looking for. That's the number. Get to that 70 plus range. That's what I want to see. 4% drop rate, phenomenal. Just a nightmare up the seams. A guy that can make catches away from his body. Strong ball carrier as well. 15 forced missed tackles last season. Great change of direction. He is undersized, but let me tell you, he isn't just he's a better blocker than you'd expect at that size. He's not like Castles, who's going to be playing at Tennessee this year. Like, he's a good blocker. Like, he understands angles. He blocks exceptionally well. Really, the biggest concern with him is, okay, he kind of lacks the size, but as of right now, he is 20 years old. That dude's body's still developing. Let's wait and let's see. Regardless, this is your top tight end prospect, and it's not even close, and I don't think it will be. But that's it for the video. There are a couple of names I kind of want to mention here on the out. Michael Trigg out of Ole Miss. I gave him a incomplete evaluation. So a guy that I want to look back at once the season starts to get underway, because he hasn't ever really been used a lot in the passing games. Part of that's injury and such. But he's never cracked, 200 yards in his career in a total season. So I felt like when watching him, I got a better feel for him as a blocker, which there's some things to like about there. So he's someone I'm going to come back and wait for the season to start a little bit so I can get a better read on him. And then there's a couple of guys that I ended up putting as big slots, or flat out, they're probably receivers at the next level. I have Sadeu, how do you say his last name? Traore, who is currently, as of right now in this video, he has yet to transfer anywhere. So I know the Hurricanes have seemed like a potential landing spot. We'll see, but yeah, that guy's freaking fun to watch. He's good. He's gonna be on my receivers list. We'll see. I haven't got to receivers. I don't know how great the class is after Marvin Harrison. Someone else, Oronde Gadsden, who, shoot, man. As a Dolphins fan, I remember his dad, dude. I remember his dad. I think he's a big slot. It's kind of a joke that, oh no, he played tight end for Syracuse last year, and what percentage of his plays were in this? Like, the dude only played 2% of the time in line. So yeah, he's a big slot. And Brant Kuthi out of Utah, I have him listed as a big slot player. He's down to 6'2", 220. So he's not playing at the 230 anymore, so I'm going to list him as a big slot. But again, that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.